This is what a typical Muay Thai class would look like at Chop and Chops. So we always start off with warm-ups by jumping ropes and follow that up by body weight exercises and then a couple of minutes of shadow boxing. Then we'll usually break off into pairs, grab some pads, and we'll come instructional pad work. That's where the coach will tell us what kind of combinations to do, what kind of techniques to use, how to combine them together, as well as provide details on doing it correctly. Sometimes we do what we call freestyle pad work. That's when the pad holder will essentially guide the other person and they'll tell them what to do. So the class isn't doing the same work. Every group is doing individual work together. Of course, the coaches are there to help and instruct. So while people are working on technique and working on the combinations, they'll demonstrate, they'll correct. Here you can see that we are using a heavy bag as opposed to pad work. Sometimes we do that as well. And we also have a couple of bobs, which are mannequin-shaped heavy bags, so it'll closer resemble an opponent, so it'll look like a torso as opposed to like a cylindrical bag. After some pad work, we'll move on to partner work. So instead of hitting pads, we'll be actually hitting bodies. So the power has to get toned down a lot during this period of the class. Everyone will put on their sparring gear since that's what we're going to be sparring with later on. So it's good to get used to it and train with it. Sometimes we do a couple of clinch rounds. That's when we actively wrestle. While we're kickboxing, Muay Thai, there's a clinch system, so it's not just hitting people, there's also a way of grabbing and manipulating people to hitting them with knees and elbows. And at the end of every class, we always finish up with sparring. Now, sparring is optional, but we definitely recommend it. It's always a good idea to practice what we're training. Otherwise, you'll kind of be limited as to how good you'll get. The sparring is kept very technical, so no one's really hitting each other that hard. The harder you get hit, it resembles closer to fights, and it's not the best or safest way to train. So we always have to keep ourselves and our partners safe. And like we said, sparring is optional, so people who want to opt out of it, that's fine. We can always work on the heavy bags, work with another person on pads, or work on more drills. You don't have to spar. At the end of every class, we always circle up where we kind of summarize what we went over that class. The coach will give announcements to upcoming gym events, any information that we need to share together. And we always bow out with each partner, whether we worked with them that day or not. It's always good to show respect, have good repertoire with your teammates, and just kind of get along with everybody. The Muay Thai basics classes are pretty much the same as these, just the physicality is definitely toned down a lot and it's much more beginner friendly.